There are so many topics that get overlooked when people talk about what you need to know when traveling to a place or vacationing in a place. And one of the topics at the top of that list is usually safety. It's easy to brush off some of the things that you need to know in order to keep your family and yourself safe when you're traveling. And I think there are a few different reasons for that, but one thing that I think kind of encourages people to stay away from this topic, unfortunate as it may be, is that people don't always want to acknowledge the negative things about a place that they love and they enjoy being. It's true when we talk about people who live in that place, they don't want people discussing the less than great things, but it's also true when we talk about people who vacation in that place, They want this to be their happy place. They want it to be the place that they escape to, and so they don't want to acknowledge the realities sometimes of what you might encounter if you're in that place. But the problem is, if you don't acknowledge it, people don't know about it, and if people don't know about it, they can't prepare, and if they can't prepare, they can't keep themselves safe. So today I want to talk to you about something that actually just happened very recently here in the Orlando area, actually right here in this area where we're hanging out today. And I want to give you some tips, some information, a little bit of a reality check on how you can keep yourself safe if you're going to be here or in any of the areas nearby, because there's a lot going on over here, right? There's all the fun stuff to do off property, which is where we are today, but there's Walt Disney World, Universal. So anyway, we're going to talk all about it. But first, let's talk a little bit about this area and what recently went down here that I think you need to be aware of. So today we're about 15 minutes from the Walt Disney World Resort in an area that we've talked about before. It's called Sunset Walk. You might be able to see that on the sign behind me. And this is kind of like a semi-resort area, but also a little bit of a shopping plaza. So right behind you, I think we have a movie theater. We have a lot of dining and shopping in this little strip mall over here. And we also have Margaritaville, and Island H2O is like just down the way. There's also a Target like right around the corner, which makes this a great place to stop if you maybe are staying off property or you need to make a Target run, but you still want to make a day of it. You can grab some food. Depending on the day that you're here, you can check out a car show, because that happens here all the time as well. And we aren't far, like I said, from Walt Disney World, but we're like right down the street from the Animal Kingdom area. Well, anyway, there was some news that just came out of this area, more specifically the Island H2O water park.
Detectives say that's 33-year-old Nicholas Rivera attempting to break into cars Wednesday in the parking lot of the Island H2O water park.
I think it was two people who were just going up to cars in the parking lot, checking to see if they were locked, and if they weren't, they would rummage through and try and grab things like debit cards, then use those debit cards to, buy things that they didn't have to pay for. Now, this isn't the only time that something like this has ever happened, certainly not here in the Central Florida, Walt Disney World, Universal area. Certainly not the first time it's ever happened at a tourist attraction. Stuff like this happens all the time. Now, the reason that this happens is pretty simple. I know some people aren't going to want me to acknowledge this as straight up as I'm going to, but again, acknowledging it means that we can inform people. Informing people means that they can prepare. But tourists, vacationers, people who just aren't from this area, they tend to be unaware of the things that they need to be aware of in order to keep themselves safe when visiting this area. And I know, I can hear some of you working your fingers already saying like, well, it's a no-brainer, right? Like, don't keep valuables in your car, make sure that you're locking the doors. Yeah, to you, it's a no-brainer. But the US is big and the world is wide. And there are a lot of people who live in a lot of places where it's not that big a deal if you forget to lock your car. Hell, some people don't even lock their house. And the idea of bringing your debit card, let's say, into the water park with you where it might get lost, that sounds crazy when you could leave it in the car, because it'll be safe there, right? I mean, there's surely security, isn't there? Maybe. Maybe not. And people who want to take advantage of you, they know these things. They know that you're going to be lackadaisical. You probably don't realize what the crime rate is in a particular area. You're probably not reading the local news because you got your own thing going on wherever it is that you're from. So they're going to do things like these people did. They're going to walk up to your car, just check nonchalant to see if it's unlocked. And then if the door is open, well, you might as well put a welcome mat out. So what can you do to keep yourself safe if you're traveling not only here in the Orlando area, but anywhere. There are a few things, and they're so basic. Number one is to keep your stuff secure. Lock your stuff up. Now, for the sake of today's discussion, we're talking about thieves in parking lots. Lock your car doors. But this extends beyond that too. If you're staying at a hotel that has a safe, use that safe. If you're staying at a hotel that doesn't have an in-room safe, ask them if they have a safe in the lobby. Sometimes they'll have something similar to a security lockbox, like you might find at a bank. That's a great way to secure important things while you're not in your room, just in case, because you never know. But if it's something that's important, meaningful, or vital to your travel plans, and you can't leave it at home, you have to bring it on vacation with you, keep it secure. Next up, again, painfully simple, out of sight, out of mind. Make sure that you're taking those things that are important to you, that are valuable, whatever the case, and putting them in a place where they're tucked away, where you can't just look in and see it. You might be amazed at how many hidey holes there are in places, how many places that you can tuck things to get them out of sight so that people don't just see them and think, oh, I could grab that, whether we're talking about your car, your hotel room, whatever the case may be. Tuck those things away. Tuck them away. Now look, another thing that I want to add to this list, again, painfully simple, is you really shouldn't be leaving anything behind that you're not willing to lose. This is especially true if we're talking about visiting the water parks, because I know some people, they got stuff they don't want to take in the pools with them or whatever. They're not sure what to do with it. Again, get a locker, or better yet, don't bring that thing with you. And again, I'm not saying leave it in the car. I'm saying leave it in a hotel, in a locked safe, behind the front desk, in a locked safe. Or if you can pull it off, don't bring it at all. Leave it home. That's where it belongs. If it's sentimental, valuable, or something that you would just never be able to live with yourself if you lose. Now again, I know that this gets tricky when we talk about credit cards or IDs, and that's why we have to go the extra mile. We have to make sure that we're putting those in a safe place. Maybe that safe place is a locker in the water park or the theme park. Maybe we're pulling those very important valuables, documents, whatever the case may be, electronics, out of our luggage and bringing them into the park with us so that we can put them in a locker rather than leaving them exposed in the car. Even if by exposed, we're talking like in a suitcase in the back seat because we couldn't fit it in the trunk. This is a little bit of extra work. It's a little bit of extra money, but it's going to cost you less for a locker than it's going to cost you to replace those items. There are also other things that you can do if, let's say, you're going to the water parks and you're gonna have car keys that you have to deal with. Maybe credit cards or IDs or your phone. They have waterproof pouches of various sizes that you can put something like a car key in, especially a key like this that can't get wet. We have one of these. This is what we use when we go to the water parks and don't want to spend $10 on a locker just so that we can put this in. They have pouches for your cell phone where you can put credit cards and other important things in as well, and you can wear that on your person when you're at the water parks or at the theme parks or wherever the case. And again, the risk of that getting lost, it still exists, right? So we're gonna have to check in on ourselves. Even so, we're gonna have to make sure that that's secure and kept in a safe place. When I'm at the water parks, what I like to do is I like to wear the lanyard around my neck and then tuck the pouch into my top or bottoms, depending on what exactly I'm doing. But no matter what option you choose, and there are a lot of options to choose from, your best bet is to make sure that the thing that is valuable to you is safe and secure. And in your car, certainly in your unlocked car, is not it. Now look, at the risk of sounding like some sort of local police department PSA, it's important to understand that most crime is a crime of opportunity. People are taking advantage of you because you're easy to take advantage of. And we want to try and prevent people from doing that. We want to keep our stuff secure. We want to keep our stuff out of sight, out of mind. We want to make things as hard for them as possible. And for those of you who might be thinking, Kat, you just have canvas on the back of your Jeep. Like, what if someone wants to take... Not everything is what it seems, my friend. Anyway, so these are things that I think that you should be aware of. These are things that you need to do. Also, I'm just gonna wrap this up by saying that I know some of you are going, well, you're talking about an off-property area, Island H2O. This is not exclusive to off-property. This type of thing happens at Walt Disney World as well. In fact, lots of different types of crime happen at Walt Disney World. Case in point. People don't like to acknowledge it because, again, they want to live in that illusion of their vacation destination being perfect. But both things can be true at the same time, and we need to recognize that so that we can prepare ourselves accordingly. Also, there's one more thing that I want to touch on because I have talked about things like this in the past, and one of the responses that I get time and time again is, well, you're only saying this stuff to try and like focus on the negativity or scare people. And that couldn't be further from the truth. As I say all the time, I'm just keeping it real. And sometimes that means talking about things that are negative. And in this case, that's the thing. It's a news story. It's something that actually happened here. But I'm not trying to scare you either. I'm not trying to make you feel unsettled or unsafe. I truly believe that the way to feel safe and secure is to know the information, know what to expect so you can prepare yourself accordingly. No one wants you to be off balance. No one wants you to feel like you're caught off guard. And the only way to do that is talk about stuff like this. So that's what we did today, and I hope that you find this helpful. Also, if you have any other tips on how to feel safe or be safe when you're traveling, whether it's here, whether it's anywhere else, pop them in the comments down below. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say, and maybe even sharing those tips with others in a future discussion. But for now, it's starting to get a little bit toasty, so I gotta wrap things up. Thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I hope you'll join us next time. Until then, bye guys.